Hello and welcome. Today is Friday, or should I say Friday? For those of you watching on the replay, I go live every Monday through Friday except for holidays at 11 a.m. So today we're going to talk about 7 simple things you can do to get your business to sell quickly. Now, they're simple in what you have to do, but you're probably going to need some help. So it's worth investing some money into it. If you're at the point where you're ready to sell, these are some things that hopefully you've been doing all along. If not, now is a great time to get that done. So if you're new here, my name is Taylor Darcy from Think Legal, where I help you create the business of your dreams. And sometimes that means letting that business go. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? All right, so we're going to talk about some of the business aspects of selling your business. Now, it sounds a little redundant, but you get what I mean. But there's going to be some psychological components to this as well, because being an owner of a business is very different than being retired or selling your business and doing your own thing. There's also part of it that says, if you decide to sell it and then go become an employee, I mean, maybe you want to become a Walmart greeter. I don't know. I'm not here to judge, right? This is safe space right here. My channel's safe. Okay. I don't care what you want to do. I'm here to help you sell that business as fast as you want to. Now, you can do this as quickly as you want or as slowly. So that's the beautiful part about this, is that if you're really in a hurry to sell your business, I would advise against that. I mean, I know this is talking about how to sell your business quickly, but when I say I advise against that, you're going to get a better deal if you can be patient to find the right buyer. That's just, it's the same thing. We talked about in other episodes about how when you need credit, they won't give you credit, which is obnoxious because you're like, I didn't need the money 10 minutes ago. I need the money now. And they're like, no, you don't deserve the money now because you need it. And it's stupid. Okay, same thing goes for selling a business. So my official advice, be patient. Take your time. Try not to have to sell your business quickly. But if you take these steps on a regular basis, when you are ready to sell, then you will be ready to go. And you'll be able to get the best value for your business. These are all things that are going to just give you that extra little something that's going to make people want to buy your business. It's going to be because you're going to be like the top 1% of all businesses that are going to be sold, and you're going to get a premium for your value. Look at it this way. The more you invest into your business, as far as like these steps and some other things as well, the better value you're going to get for your business. And after all, you've put a lot of hard work into it. You should. So keep that in mind, that the longer and the more detailed you are, the more specific you are, the things that you're going to do in this instance, the better it's going to turn out for you. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and guarantee anything is going to happen, but it's buying and selling a business can be a very big, stressful situation. So these tips are going to make it a lot easier. You're going to sleep better at night. And like I said, if you're getting ready or just kind of thinking about it, that's cool too. Just think about it, but keep these things in the back of your head so that when you are, like, maybe you're not ready today, maybe you're ready in 6 months, maybe you're ready in a year. I don't know. I'm not you. You're not here. Maybe you are. I don't know. Anyway, so number 1, review all your contracts. I know you're like, shocking. Attorney says review your contracts, but that's not why I'm saying it because I'm an attorney. I'm saying it because when you review all your contracts, you're going to see who's up for renewal, what the terms of them are. You're starting the due diligence process. And when I say review the contracts, make sure that you get them all in one place, whether that's digital, electronic, or whether it's the physical paper. I know most of my contracts are done via digital these days. There's not a ton of paper that goes back and forth in that respect. So get them all together, review them, make sure they're consistent. If you need to revamp them, make sure you're getting an attorney to do that. I know, shocking. You're gonna, get somebody to make sure that the new contracts are going to be better than the old contracts. And that's really what I'm talking about here. So reviewing your contracts, all of them. So whether you're the vendor or the vendee, or whether you're the service provider or the product provider, make sure you get everything in your right row, because one of the things that can be very beneficial to selling your business is if all your ducks are in the row, right, correct row, then you're going to be able to sell that business faster than if you're kind of like trying to figure it out as you go. So this is all stuff you want to probably do 6 months to a year before you're thinking about selling that bad boy, because otherwise you're going to risk that people are going to, that it's going to, like I said, rushed is never a good scenario. It's not a great scenario. Okay. Can you do it? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and these are the things that are going to, set you different from other people, and going to get that sold faster. And that's the point, is when you're ready to sell as fast as possible by doing these things. So number 2, if you're a sole proprietor, now is a really good time to get a corporation or an LLC, consult an attorney. These are your best bets. Get them transfer, and we'll talk about what you're going to do with it, but now is a good time to get that done. They're easier to transfer. There's more value to an LLC or a corporation when it comes to selling your business. And the big reason why is because of the assets and where they're at. And we'll talk about that in step 3 in just a second. If you are an LLC or corporation, make sure you are up on your taxes, your statement of information, and other corporate formalities. So if you're like most of them that don't do them most of the time, and I'm not saying all, I'm saying most, now is a really good time to sit down and do those. Your minutes, any type of resolutions, any type of updates, you're going to want to create a paper trail through the formalities and go back and make sure that everything is updated so that everything is correct for when you're ready to sell. This is a big, big issue, because if those aren't ready when you're getting there, it's going to blow things up, because you really want to keep that paper trail correct. Taxes is another thing. If you're borderline going to be suspended by the Franchise Tax Board, which, by the way, this is California only. You have other entities in your states, so keep that in mind. These are general overall, but there are some specifics to California. If you're suspended by the FTB, Franchise Tax Board, for not paying your taxes, then they're not going to let you sell your business till that's current. So you want to get those taxes up and ready to go. Statement of information is another way that they can suspend you. So, I mean, and that's really a dumb reason, because statement of information is $20, $25 tops. So don't sit on that. That's not good. Now, number 3, if you're a sole proprietor, transfer all of your assets into the business entity that you just formed. This is important because you want the business to own those assets, not you personally. It just, there's a lot of reasons why that makes sense. And I know you've probably been hesitant to form an LLC. It's been easier to do it through a sole prop or form a corporation. But the reality is, one of the best benefits is the alienability of the membership interest or share interest in the different types of entity. And I can't stress this enough. There's also a seasoning factor that says, like, for instance, your EIN is used for credit purposes, just like your social security number, right? So you have a credit history for your business, just like you do for your social security number. And so by starting that LLC now, you're giving it a little, not a lot, of time to season. That's why it's always better to start with an LLC or corporation, but I totally get it. Some people don't want to do that, and some people are like, hey, it's working, so why change? Why change it? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I get that a lot with a lot of entrepreneurs. I totally understand that. But, the best time to do it was yesterday. second best time to do it is today, and the next best is tomorrow, right? So you really want to sit down and say, okay, if my goal is to sell this, then I'm going to do the work to get it ready to sell. And that means transferring those assets into that LLC and corporation. Yes, it's going to cost you something. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but it's going to be worth the money that you spent. That's what you got to look at this as. It's an investment. It's not oh, I'm going to lose money. It's an investment, because that value of that business is going to go up by a lot more than the money that you're going to spend to get it ready. Because you're going to get that, again, you're going to get a premium price for your business, which is what you want. If you don't care about the premium price, if you're just like, I don't even, whatever, forget it, I don't care, then maybe you don't have to do these things, but you're going to have a harder time selling it. It's going to take a lot longer to sell your business too. If you're all good to go on everything, you're going to sell it faster, easier, better. I mean, there's so many reasons to do this. I can't even, I hope that throughout this video that we're discussing this, that you understand that all of these steps are here to make your life better. They might be challenging and like, oh, I have to do this, or I have to spend the money on that, blah, blah, blah. I totally understand that. But you really want to make sure that you're giving your best foot forward, right? You don't ever get a second chance to make a first impression. That's what you're doing with your business. Do you want to take, someone fabulous to the prom or to an event, or do you want to take the person that doesn't do any work for themselves, right? So presentation makes a difference. How you're presenting yourself to a potential buyer is important. If they see you've just kind of like thrown it away and did nothing with it, and just like, you're just running on fumes, you're going to look like an old haggard person, and you're not going to sell it. I'll be honest with you. Or you're not going to sell it for the best price. If you, get in shape and, get your hair all done, obviously I'm talking in metaphor here. If you're getting your business all in ready, and, you're combing your hair, you're putting on your makeup, or you're, putting on your cologne, and you're dressing up in your tux, you're going to look good, right? You're going to look amazing. I don't care who you are. You're going to look great. And even if it's not a perfect business, I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting that you just want to look the best and be the best you can be, whatever that business is. So, and if you can unload debt, and what I mean by unload is, pay off, get out of debt because you don't want too high of a debt ratio, then that's going to also help you. Cash flows, revenues, that type of thing. So these are your first three. Next one is, and this one's going to sound like, well, why am I going to do this? But I totally get it. You're going to want to apply for all your intellectual property, trademarks, copyrights, patents, everything. Yes, again, I can't tell you enough that it's going to cost you some money. But again, do you want a premium price because it's all done, or do you just kind of want whatever the person wants to sell it to you? And I get that if you're at a point where you're thinking of selling a business, you might be exhausted. And so you're going to be thinking, oh, I don't want to even do this. I don't even want to bother. I don't have the brain power to do it. I don't have the emotional whatever to do it. But I'm asking you, you've put in the time and effort to get you where you are. But I'm telling you, you want to do these things because you don't want to leave any money on that table. And so if you can invest some of your money into these things, that you're going to get a better result. Like, I can't even tell you, like, you're going to pay for what you're doing and then some. Because imagine if you're buying a business, if all of these things are taken care of, and you got to think in that respect, right? If all of these things are taken care of, that's the thing that the buyer doesn't have to do. That's going to be more value for them. So they're going to go, well, yeah, I'm going to pay that. I'm going to pay, this premium price because I'm getting a premium product, right? Think Apple instead of Kyocera. Just that's the truth. I don't think of high quality when I think of Kyocera, or think, Sony instead of Vizio. I'm just using those TVs, right? You pay more because you get, or Samsung TVs. They're in the top of the, top list. Same thing goes for this. Do you want to be that business that people are willing to pay extra for because it's good quality? Or are you like, okay with being the bottom rung and not getting what you're paying for it? Okay. So you're going to want to apply for that intellectual property. Now, here's the caveat on that. Intellectual property takes a long time to get done. The government does not move fast. Trademarks, the minimum is 3 months before they even assign you a trademark attorney. So you're looking at 6 months. The last trademark I did took a year. Okay, and not because of anything I did, because of the USPTO office. They just took forever, and that's just how it is. So the reason why you're like, but I'm selling my business. Why would I apply for a trademark and patent and copyrights now? Copyrights are faster, just FYI. Trademarks are slower. So if you want to, work on that, here's why. Because number one, the buyer is going to see that at least you're trying. It may not fetch as premium of a price as if you already had your trademarks, patents, and copyrights, but it'll give you a little bump. Now, the other thing is you don't know when your business is going to sell. So if you start the process now and it takes a year before you're ready to go to sell, like all of this stuff takes that time, then all of a sudden you've got this intellectual property in the meantime, and it'll be ready to sell when you're there. Okay. So they're going to see that you're trying is number one. It's not the strongest argument. You should have done it a while ago. Be honest with you. Like I've said, best time to do something was yesterday, second best today, the next best today, second best tomorrow, right? So we're talking about doing this today instead of yesterday, because tomorrow you're going to be wanting to sell that business, and having those trademarks, patents, and copyrights are going to boost that value. And maybe it takes longer than a year. Maybe it takes 2 years. Well, you'll have had that trademark, that intellectual property for that 2 years. And they're going to go, okay, hey, he did it. He did the work. He got the intellectual property. It adds value to your brand. It adds value to who you are. That's what intellectual property does. It will help your bottom line in what you get purchased, because you're building a brand and not just, think Coke, Pepsi, Frito-Lay, lots of things, Ford. When you think Ford, you think of a certain thing, right? So whatever your business is, you're building a brand instead of being just whatever, the next auto mechanic. Okay. Next thing is you're going to want to balance your books. Or if you truly hate it, like most entrepreneurs I know do, you're going to hire someone to do it. Bookkeeper, I don't care who it is. Someone that is good, knowledgeable about your books. Because the worst thing you can possibly do is not have a balanced book when you start this process. Because if you're like most entrepreneurs, you probably don't balance your books every week, every month. You should. Okay, we're just going to say it. It's true. I totally get it. You guys are busy. There's other things. But if you're talking about your books, if you're talking about selling, start getting your books balanced, getting your profit and loss statements, your balance sheets, all of these things, cash flow analysis, getting all these things prepared so that you can have them ready for when you're actually have a buyer for the business. Okay, so this part of it is something you're going to want to do until you're ready to sell. So get it done retroactively, number one, and then number two, make sure you keep it going until you're ready to sell, till it actually sells. Okay, because this is absolutely crucial. Now, this is kind of like subsection 5B, if you will, but get a third-party business valuation before you even are considering to sell. See what your business is worth right now, and look at ways to improve that value. Okay, and look at ways, like all of these things are going to improve your value, but a business valuation is going to take a look at your numbers, your hard numbers, your assets, all of these things, and going to say to you, hey, if you do this thing, maybe you need to get a lower on your debt. Okay, that's a good thing. Or maybe you need whatever. They're going to be able to sit there and look at you and go, this is what you can do to give yourself a business premium in addition to these other things. So I'm talking like holistically here, right? So you're going to want to get that third-party valuation. Now, this isn't going to be the last third-party valuation. This is going to be your first one. It's going to give you a baseline to see where you're at, to see what you can ask to sell your business for. And it shows the buyer that you are serious, because you will have a baseline to look from. And you really want it to be a neutral third party. Certainly you can do a business valuation yourself. This isn't, you can find books and do it, but A third party is going to look at it objectively. I know too many business owners that put emotion into the business, and I totally get it. You know, you've put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. That's true. But from a business valuation standpoint, you really want it to be as objective as possible, because you may think, oh, I'm worth $1 million. But that might not be true. Okay. You might be 800,000 and you're like, but I thought I was worth $1 million. And he can guide you. The business valuation person can guide you, he or she. I have both. That can give you an idea of what your business is going to cost or potentially cost. The other thing this does, again, not only gives you a baseline so that you can improve it. There's a debt issue. That's usually the number one, just FYI. Biggest issue with selling your business is how much debt you have. Your debt ratio is too high. But you know, that's part of the business valuation. The other thing that it can do is you can then take that business valuation to a business broker if you're like, no, I'm cool with whatever the amount they say is. And then that business broker can help find a buyer for your business. But again, you want to do this before you get there. And then you want to have once you've improved the things that you've needed to improve, then you would take it to the business broker after a second party or a second business valuation. And, you know, don't necessarily use the same person twice. I mean, yes, use the same, like, here's why. Number one, trust but verify. Can't tell you that enough with business. Maybe that guy, you know, you're paying him, so he's going to want to charge you, you know, whatever it is he charges you. But then the other part is that it confirms what you are learning and that those steps that you took were good for your business. Okay. So it's, you know, it's an important thing to, you know, have multiple parties look at it, because then you can get a better gauge of truth. Right. So that's the second start. So that's 5B, if you will. The next thing, and this is probably one of those top, I don't know, like, this is one of those things that'll help build non-hard value, but will be very valuable for your buyer. Excuse me. Vocal cords start getting a little messed up after talking for 30 minutes straight or 20 whatever minutes straight. Okay, so this one is kind of like hodgy-podgy, but it's more warm and feely. Excuse me. You're going to want to update and improve any type of crucial systems or processes. Don't go crazy. The buyer is likely going to revamp things anyway. They're going to have different ideas on how to do things, and eventually, if they're buying the business, it's theirs to do with whatever they want when they get there. But if you haven't updated something in 6 months or a year and you don't have anybody looking at those things, this is something you're going to at least want to look back at and say, look, you know, these processes still work. Let's keep them. Or maybe they could be improved a little bit. You don't have to necessarily revamp everything. Okay, this is not a, hey, make your life more difficult video. This is how to do it simply. So you have people that will do this for you. Hopefully you have employees at this point. Hopefully it's not just you. And that's a different topic or a different discussion for a different day. But the idea being that if you update and improve your systems, then that buyer's going to come in and say, oh, okay, they're not only are they trying, but, and maybe that you just don't have the skill set or the bandwidth to make them perfect. And that's something you've always wanted to do. And then, so by doing this though, by updating them, you're going to give the buyer an opportunity to see your logic and thought process and at least let them know that you were serious. If it's just kind of like haven't been updated in years, like 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, and I mean, that thing doesn't even exist anymore, then you're running a real risk of people, of the buyer going, okay, that's stupid. I'm not going to pay for that, right? And then it's going to lower your value. So, you know, when you're buying a car, they do a detail on it, right? That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about detailing your business to make it look all pretty to sell as much as possible. New cars. Once upon a time, I was a car salesman many, many, many years ago. I want to say 20, but I digress. Many years ago, car salesman, new cars would have the lowest margin in them because the manufacturer was trying to get the most value out of them. So you wouldn't, they devalue the quickest, but I mean, like as far as like car sales, that's why they wouldn't push a new car on people. I don't know if that's still true. I haven't, like I said, I haven't sold cars in forever, but used cars was where the value was because of the margin in them, which is, to say that, they would buy a car at low blue book, trade-in value for $2,000, fix it up, put another $2,000 in it, and then sell it for the retail blue book, and sell it for $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, right? Whatever the top of the blue book was, given the mileage and all that other stuff. And so car salespeople would have more incentive to sell used than new. Well, in this context, I'm talking about taking that business of yours and making sure the oil is checked, making sure the gas tank is full, making sure the carpet's clean, make sure that the paint job is correct. There's no scratches, there's no dents, or reasonably so, right? Like return on investment. How much are you going to spend on doing this to make it? Well, if we're talking like a multi-million-dollar business or something in that range, and you're not willing to spend, $50,000 to $100,000 on fixing things up, which is what it theoretically could take that. Just depends on what needs to be fixed, right? New car or used car, you're not going to, put a whole new engine in something if all it needs is, this, right? So I'm not suggesting you do crazy stuff. I'm suggesting you do it to get it ready to sell, just like you would any car. You're going to get a better value. You're going to sell it for that premium, and you're going to be able to be proud of what people can sense. That if you're proud of your work, if you're proud of your job, and I don't just mean what you've done, I mean like your business itself. If you've got your trademarks, your patents, your copyrights, if you've got your books, if you've got all of these things ready to go, then you're going to be able to, puff your chest out, wear that tuxedo, and you're going to get lots of dates to the proverbial prom, right? If you're kind of run down and you're just kind of like, nope, I don't even care, you're going to get less money for it. And I know that I've said that earlier, but I just want to reiterate this, that you really want to go for that premium. So investing all of these things, like I said, $50,000 to $100,000. I mean, depending on your business, right? Some businesses are going to cost more, some business is going to cost less. I'm not suggesting that that's going to be the absolute amount. I'm suggesting that's just an idea that you want to look at a percentage and say, if I spend, and I'm just using this for instance, if I spend $100,000 on getting all of this situated and all this done, and it was worth $1 million, and I can get $1.5 million, then my ROI on that 100,000 is $400,000, right? That's what you need to look at. That's what you need to think about. That's a pretty dang good investment. 400% investment. Now, is that going to be perfect? Is that going to be like every time or anybody? I don't know. I don't know your business. I'm not suggesting that, but I'm talking, you need to think in that logic, in that rationale, that it's not about the money that you're spending. It's about what you're going to get back by getting a premium price for your business. And sometimes that premium comes in you selling your business over someone not selling your business for 6 months or a year or whatever. What's that worth to you, right? The time that it takes to get you there. If you're looking at retiring and that $1.5 million or that $1 million is what's going to get you to retire, and you want to retire in a year, then you got to think about it from that perspective, right? I can sell my business fast in a year versus it might take another year or two if I keep it looking kind of junky. Like used cars that sit on lots are the ones that are usually high mileage and that haven't been well taken care of. That's why they're hard to sell, right? You don't want to be that. You don't want to be the used car that's sitting on the lot of the proverbial business, whatever, because you didn't want to invest the time and money into making it better, into fixing it to get it ready to go to sell. So these are just 7 of these things. We're going to talk more about buying and selling businesses over the next several days, weeks, months, because these are a great way to become an entrepreneur and a business owner. You don't have to go it alone. If you have any questions or would like to talk with me, feel free to check out my website, thinklegal.law. Also, as I've said at the beginning of the video, we go live Monday through Thursday. Monday. I don't know why I do that. Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. And please stop in. I would love to talk with you and answer any questions you have and give you the help you need. If you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, hitting the bell icon. Don't forget to hit that bell icon to be notified when we go live. Have a good one.